Hello, today we're going to do something a little bit different. So far on this channel we have gone over doing components for pieces and practicing certain skills. Today we are going to create an actual piece. I decided to start out fairly simple but very rewarding. We're going to make a ring. For this, you're going to need your wire clippers, some flat pliers, and a ring mandrel. These are super important and they help with making the proper sizing. They always have the ring sizes here and they just keep everything nice and uniform when you're wrapping. You're going to need 3 square 18 gauge wires, about 5 to 6 inches in length, depending on how big of a ring you're going to want. The more wire you're going to want here, obviously. And then you're going to also need a half round 21 gauge wire, about, I'd say, probably 1.5 feet of it. Go ahead and get that clipped. Okay, so the first step that I always do when making my rings or any piece is to take each wire and get it as flat and straight as you possibly can. There is some pliers that are really helpful for this. Mine are unfortunately broken. They are a nylon tipped plier, so that you can do what I'm doing here without worrying about scratching or marring your wires, and without worrying about hurting your fingers from pinching wire more than you need to. As you practice and wire wrap, some of you are more experienced, some of you are just starting out, but as you work, your fingers will get stronger the more you abuse them. So if this is not fun for your fingers and it makes your fingers very sad, don't worry, eventually you will have the necessary calluses. So my wire is obviously fairly tarnished, getting a little gross there, but it's fine. It's coming off of the oxidization of the wire. So first step after getting everything nice and straight is to bend your half round wire in half with the flat side facing in. The next step is to take your 3 square wires, line them up flat, nice and flat, nice and straight, and all at the same length. You want them even. And then in the middle, or as close as you can get to the middle, take this half round wire that you have bent and drape it over the center. Okay, should look like, let's see if I can get my fingers out of there enough. Should look like that. Okay, simple, easy. Okay, next step is to grab the wire that you just placed over. Try to keep your fingers back as much as possible and start wrapping one side of your bundle. So where you put the you draped the wire over in the back is going to be the center of the back of your ring. So you're just going to wrap this until you get to the length that you need for your half of your ring. Okay, so pinching as you go to keep all of the wraps close to each other, and then just keep going until you feel like that's probably going to be about halfway of your ring. And that's going to be variable for everybody because everybody's going to be making a different size ring, more or less. I like to pinch what I've done down so that it stays nice and tight and doesn't slide around. And I'm going to call that good for now. I still have a tail, so I can come back and add more if I want to. But if I need to remove it, I don't have to take off a lot. So then go to the other side and do the same thing. Making sure to wrap it tightly, but not too tightly that your stack of base wires becomes a bundle instead of a stack. You want to keep these nice and straight because this is the band of your ring. And if it gets all bunched up in the middle of the band, it's going to be more uncomfortable when you're wearing it. The nice thing about this is you already have half of your thing, your band wrapped, so you have an idea of how far you're going to want to go on the other side based on how long this is. Since everything's been done in half, you just want to make these the same length. So just keep wrapping until your two tails are the same length. Mine are about 2 wraps shy probably. And one more. They should be like that. And then go ahead and pinch this down. And you'll have a decent sized amount of wire going. You can pick up your mandrel. If you know what ring size you want, go ahead and go to that size. I think I'm going to do a 6.5. That's a very common ring size. And I am going to need to continue to wrap because there's still quite a bit of space before these are able to bend over and touch each other. So I'm going to straighten these out just a little bit because trying to wrap inside of a horseshoe is not easy. So I'm going to give each side probably 7 more wraps. Still have my tail, pinch that down. So everything's nice and tight and connected. Okay, go to the other side. Bearing in mind that the more wraps you do on one side, the more you're going to have to do on the other side, and then you run the risk of it being far too large and having to undo things, which is not fun. And you run the risk of work hardening your wires a lot more the more you mess with them. Alright, back up to my 6.5. Going to make sure these are not crossing into each other, because then you can't keep going. Couple more wraps. So we're very, very close now. It's looking like I'm going to use up all of the wire that I clipped already, which is just fine. So just finish that off. When you get to the end of your wire, you're going to want to have it on the outside of your band. So clip it off right here, because you are not going to want that loose wire on the inside of your ring. That's going to snag your finger, it's going to hurt, it's going to make it come undone. It's just not what we want. So make sure that it ends on the outside of the band, and do the other side. So because of the size that I picked, I should have made a longer wrapping wire, but it's okay. It's always okay to add more if you need more. Right now I have come to pretty much the perfect size for my ring. Let me pull this back. So they don't connect, which is just fine. And I have this open blank space with no wraps, which is also just fine. because what's going to happen is I'm going to take this 10mm cabochon, and it's going to get stuck here in the middle, like that. Okay? But before I do that, I'm going to band these 6 together. I'm not going to clip a new fresh wire because I have a bin of my scraps from other projects that I cut too long, or I just threw the whole piece away because I didn't like it. Whatever the reason, it ended up in the bin, and it is fully usable for other projects. It minimizes my waste. Highly recommend getting a little bin for your scraps. Okay, so now I have my ring that needs to be attached in the center because it's a little floppy. So luckily I had a piece of half-round wire in the bin, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to wrap it around the middle. We'll see how many wraps it gives me. I want at least 5. Just because it'll keep everything nice and in the middle. And then again with the scrap at the ends of the wires, I want them to be on the top in the middle of the piece itself. That way, specifically with this area, the stone will keep everything pinned down and in the middle, which is exactly what we want, and it won't go anywhere. So now I've got, this is what we're looking at. We've got our band fully wrapped, ends are underneath or on the outside, and then we have this center wrap holding these two together. So this ring is still going to be able to be adjusted in diameter, so we can make it wider, we can make it smaller, whatever needs to happen. So I'm going to slide it onto my mandrel now that everything's attached, and I'm sitting at about a 7 right now, so I'm going to slide it back to my 6.5, and I'm going to hold it as well as I can in that shape, slide it off the mandrel, and pinch this center wrap that I have done so that it holds everything where I want it to be. Okay, so now we're sitting at, oh, somehow I got larger, which is still fine. I can still pinch it and pull it into the shape that I want it. Okay, so now we're going to take our stone and put it on this flat little bench that we have created in the middle here. Okay, and then we're going to take the innermost wire and we are going to wrap it over the top of our ring like so. It's going over the stone, and it's going to go under and in between these wires on this side, these ones, and the band. Okay, then I'm going to shove, we can clip it if we need to, clip it as far away from your band as possible where you can still push it through the ring easily. Mine was just slightly too long, so we've got this, and we're going to push it through like here, and then we're going to push this back like that. Okay, so it's looking like this now. We're going to clip this wire right here enough that it's going to be able to grab onto the top of the band and not come undone. Okay, so we've got that much. It's not going to go past this edge of the band, and it's going to make sure that it's staying in the band. Okay, once you've done that, pinch it down. Okay, just like that. Now you've got this going on. The wire is going to want to push and pull where the wire is going, but you can always very easily slide it back into place. Okay. Then your next step is to do the same thing on the other side. Whoops. Where did that go? That has fallen into the pit of despair, so luckily I've got more of the same one. I will find that later. See if I can lose all of my stones in one day. That would be, I feel like that would be a feat. Maybe that'll be our next video, is tips on losing all your supplies before you finish your project. Okay, so we're going in between the open wires and the ring band. And then we are going to shove that wire through the ring band and up and around, just like we did on that other side. Going to clip it so that it doesn't stick past the edge of the ring, but it still has enough on top that it can grab on. And then we're going to pinch it down. Okay. Now our ring is our stone is semi-secured. It can still slide out if it wanted to. This wire that we did first is a little too long. It's wanting to stick around. So we're going to clip it a little bit shorter. Just a little bit. We're not going to go crazy. Get that piece out of there. And then we're going to make sure that it's pinned down as much as we possibly can. See, that stone can still go places. We are going to fix that as we go. Okay, so now we have this going on. And we will take the next innermost wire and we are going to run it alongside the first, but a little bit lower. And that's going to help pin that stone in on that side. Again, shove the wire through the ring band. Ouch. Stab yourself a few times for me. And then same step. Clip it enough to grab the band, but not enough to stick past it. Pin it down. Okay. So now we've got these two up here. That one right there. Do the same thing on the other side. Oops, almost grabbed the wrong wire. Pin it down, go around. Shove it through. Clip it. Pin it. Okay. So now it's looking like this. And you will do the final piece of wire. Same thing, follow the other two wires, go down and around. So now you have a choice, okay? You can either follow the same method that you did before in pinning it down nice and flat, or you can take it, turn it a little bit on its side, and create a little swirl, like that. And then clip it. Try not to shoot yourself in the eye. Pin that down. Just for a little extra flair. Make sure that it's pinned down so that it doesn't have any stabby bits. Okay, and then you can do the same thing on the final wire. Take it, follow the other wires. So with this ring, you can do a few other things as well. On these upper wires, I did them just bare wires. I was just trying to keep it simple and easy for this tutorial, the purposes of this tutorial. You can always put some more coils around these wires. You could do a weave across the front of these. You can kind of do whatever you want. The sky is the limit for sure on this design and what you want the end product to look like. Like I said, I just kept this as simple as we could so that we had a nice quick tutorial for a piece of jewelry that you can make easily. This is great if you forgot somebody's birthday and you need to make a quick present for them or something. And there you have it. On the other side we did another little spiral. We got both our little spirals. Our stone is set there in the middle. We've got our nice little connections. We have no stabby bits on the inside because we have tucked them all under these wires and that stone. And that is that. So now we have our ring. We can wear it if we want. We can gift it if we want. We can do so many things. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you want to like, subscribe, comment, any of the above, I would greatly appreciate it. And I hope to see you next time. Bye. Oh, almost forgot to mention, if you would like to have a chance to win this ring for free, this is a 6.5 sterling silver ring with a adventurine stone in it. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment with what you would like to learn next. If you complete all 3 stages, as soon as I hit 100 followers, I will comment back to the winner, and we will figure out a way to get this ring to you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.